I am not very knowledgeable about Sonic lore. I cannot say I am up to date. I think it's really cool that there is Sonic lore. You know, as a Nintendo guy, a lot of my favorite series they get stories. Nintendo gives them stories reluctantly after the fact. So I think it's genuinely cool that over all these games there's a continuity. There are consistent themes. There's a canon. It's actually important to Sega to maintain this timeline, this lore, this canon. Apparently, there are even people who work at Sega whose job it is to maintain this lore, which is interesting. We'll get to that in a minute. And today, I learned a new piece of Sonic lore. To me, apparently, this was not new at all. This was a firmly established thing. But today, I learned that Sonic is homeless. Homeless. Canonically. It is actually important. It's an important part of Sonic lore. Sega insists that we understand Sonic is homeless. Without home. He does not have a home. He does not live anywhere. Important, apparently. Now, this is a weird topic. This is a very weird thing, because it is funny and it's strange, and there's all sorts of jokes that just kind of naturally come to mind, but then kind of at the same time, homelessness is extremely not funny. It's an extremely bad problem, and even more than a problem, it is actually a symptom of much deeper problems in our society. And so even just I don't know, bringing it up in such a lighthearted manner, it does feel a little weird, and I do find myself kind of having to make sure I don't know, keep myself in check. It's not that I'm afraid I'll say anything weird. It's just that it's a naturally sensitive subject that I'm not that comfortable joking about too much. But Sonic is homeless. This is a thing. All of this was brought up because apparently Sega put out a new Sonic comic, a comic featured in the 2025 Sonic the Hedgehog annual, and this comic claims that Sonic lives in Green Hill Zone. That's the sort of sentence that I wouldn't think twice about, but like I said, Sonic doesn't live anywhere. This is a well-established thing, so Sonic fans saw that, and they were like, hey, what the heck? Sonic's homeless, and it's important. He's supposed to be a drifter, he moves from place to place. He never settles down. I don't know if it's part of the lore, how does he sleep? Where does he sleep? In inclement weather? Does he have a tent? Does he just couch surf? He's pretty fast and he lives in a cartoon world, and caves are much more common in cartoon worlds. Maybe he could just kind of scan a whole area for good shelters, caves, whatnot. Maybe he just doesn't mind the rain. I thought Sonic kind of hated water, but I guess he hates drowning in water. Maybe rain's okay. He's clearly got a pretty fast metabolism. Maybe he runs hot. Maybe he's all right in cold weather. I don't know. It's also convenient to be a cartoon character who just doesn't need basic necessities, doesn't need to brush his teeth, doesn't need work clothes or anything, just kind of basic necessities. He just doesn't need them. Anyway, let's get to the point. So this comic claims that Sonic lives in Green Hill Zone, and so Sega had to say something. Chris Hernandez, who is Sega's associate manager of Sonic the Hedgehog lore, associate manager, suggesting there are multiple people in the company whose job it is to maintain the lore. I don't know if that's exclusively their job or if they share that with other responsibilities or whatnot, but again, it's something I can appreciate. He took to Twitter to calm everyone down. He says, "Sorry to burst the bubble so late here. This was something we caught early on, but it looks like an older draft got through on accident. Sonic doesn't have a home. He's still a drifter. We'll work on making sure this doesn't happen again. Thanks for catching this. So that cleared everything up. Oh, whoa, what a relief. We were afraid that Sonic wasn't a homeless person anymore. But see, I personally am still a little bit confused here. Because I suppose maybe it is wrong to base my view of homelessness on, like, the real world and not the cartoon world. But see, the way I see it, a homeless person, they may drift around, but they'll generally stay in the same area, in the same town. Say you live in Flapsburg, Kentucky, and you for whatever reason, you are unhoused, you do not have a home, despite not having one consistent house structure to live in. Flapsburg, Kentucky is still the place where you spend most, if not all, of your time. You can still kind of say you live there. That's still generally an accurate thing to say. So for someone to claim that Sonic lives in Green Hill Zone and then for everyone to have to come in and be like, no, that's strictly wrong. That is misinformation that needs to be corrected. I don't really get it. Clearly, he does spend most of his time in Green Hill Zone. That's where all of Sonic's friends are. That's where he seems to spend the most time. And at the beginning of nearly every Sonic game, where does he start? He starts in Green Hill Zone. The game series suggests that at any given time, any random time, if something bad starts happening, Eggman up to no good, doing something naughty, where does Sonic start out? He's just hanging out in Green Hill Zone, because it seems to me to be the place where he quote-unquote lives, even if he does not have a singular structure to call his home. Of course he lives in Green Hill Zone. That's why he always starts there. That's why it's the most classic, iconic place, because that's where he's hanging out. You call him up if you had Sonic's number. Right now, you call him up right now. Hey, Sonic, where are you at right now? He'll probably say Green Hill Zone. Like, where else is he drifting in his off time? When is he just leaving his friends to go just hang out other places and, like, sleep there for weeks or months at a time? Now, I'll completely admit, there could be answers to all these questions. This could be part of the lore. This could have been explored in some of the games. Before I'm standing, it just doesn't seem that weird to say he quote-unquote lives in Green Hill Zone. I don't know. Now, I don't want to start a big war here. I'm not trying to rock the boat with the Sonic community. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe we're just arguing semantics, and maybe that's a little bit silly. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a little bit weird to me. Like if you were in Flapsburg, Kentucky, and there was a homeless person, and they said, yeah, I live here. I live in Flapsburg, Kentucky. And you said, what are you talking about? You don't live anywhere. You're homeless. That would be completely inappropriate. And just a weird conclusion to draw. Just a weird thing to say or think. I don't know. I'm probably going on about this way too long. Real point of the video is Sonic is homeless, and apparently that's really and truly important. That is a piece of Sonic lore that is maintained, that is upheld, that is kept sacred. You learn something new every day, don't you? And I wish I could ask Sonic himself. Sega can make that happen. They're always doing like funny little character things. At the next Sonic AMA, I'm gonna ask him to clear all this up. It's my new goal, to argue semantics and discuss the homelessness crisis with Sonic the Hedgehog.